If you like this video, please click on the like button. Comment with the names of the movies you would like us to cover next. Click the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get notified of our latest creations. We cover 100 movies from around the world every day. To advertise with our channel, reach out to us. Our contact information is on our channel page. Now, let's move to the plot of this movie.
Satya is a comic book artist who writes and illustrates a comic strip about a brave warrior named Maaveeran for the Tamil newspaper Dinathe. However, he is also a coward who is unable to stand up for himself. Ever since his father was killed several years ago in his fight against the existing system, he allows an employee at Dinathe to take credit for Maaveeran due to his cowardice. Neela, a sub-editor at the paper, takes a stand on Satya's behalf, securing him the same job that he was being exploited. Eventually, both become good friends. Satya and his family, comprising his widowed mother, Eshwari, and younger sister, Raji, along with his neighbors, are forced to move out of their slum and relocate to a high-rise apartment built by the government of Tamil Nadu to improve their living conditions. But within a few hours of moving in, the apartment's floors get exposed as a result of shoddy construction. Crumbling walls due to unstable foundation, broken doors, poorly installed windows, and the ceiling falling apart. Eshwari confronts the contractor, Dhanraj, as well as the local councillor Paguthi, refusing to accept the uninhabitable conditions. But Satya implores his mother to adjust to the conditions, instead showing his frustration via Maaveeran comic strips. Eventually, when Raji is sexually harassed by Dhanraj and Satya is unable to do anything about it, a livid Eshwari vents out her frustration on Satya and his cowardice, and throws away all of his Maaveeran strips as well as his drawing material. Distraught, Satya attempts suicide by trying to jump from the top floor of the apartment. But just as he has second thoughts on doing so, the shoddy construction makes way and he slips and falls down, suffering a serious head injury. It is at this juncture that Satya, on regaining consciousness, begins to experience the presence of a mysterious voice. The newfound voice, speaking like the narrator of the Maaveeran strip, takes precedence over Satya's actions, compelling him to follow its suggestions when making decisions in his life, ranging from trivial matters to significant choices. In the course of the voice's guidance, Satya crosses swords with the corrupt housing minister, M.N. Jayakodi, whose department is responsible for building the apartment and whom the voice claims as Satya's worst enemy. Satya, due to the voice's guidance, unwillingly takes on Jayakodi, Dhanraj, Paguthi, and their men as well to further expose the apartment's poor construction. This makes him a hero in the eyes of the apartment dwellers, including Eshwari and Raji. Jayakodi's secretary and best friend, Paramu, comes to know of the mysterious voice guiding Satya as well as Satya's reluctance in fighting Jayakodi and decides to use it to benefit Jayakodi. He convinces Satya to reveal on live television about the voice forcing him to fight Jayakodi and claim that the apartment construction is bad, claiming that Jayakodi would leave him alone if he does so. This causes Satya to be framed as a mentally unstable person, and his family is thrown out of the apartment, leaving them homeless. Further, Jayakodi refuses to forgive Satya and brutally beats him up, but Satya refuses to fight back, despite the voice telling him to do so. Finally, Satya loses consciousness, and the voice stops, claiming that Satya betrayed his family and the apartment dwellers for his gain. Satya returns to see his family homeless and feels guilty for the same. On Neela's advice, he decides to create his own story and take on Jayakody as well as expose the apartment's construction, even though the voice is no longer guiding him. In the process, he is willingly kidnapped by Jayakody and taken to his go-down, in the hopes of procuring the evidence of the unsafe construction of the apartment complex. Paramu is killed by Jayakody when he advises him to reveal to the public that the apartment can collapse any time and also evacuate the dwellers, as failing to do so would cost him the upcoming election. Jayakody's men throw him as well as Paramu's body into the sea. Satya, on regaining consciousness, again begins to hear the mysterious voice. This time, much to his happiness, he returns to the apartment, where he unsuccessfully tries to convince the dwellers to evacuate the apartment as it would collapse any moment. Jayakody arrives at the apartment and mocks Satya, prompting him to challenge Jayakody to stay in the apartment if he is fully sure that it will not collapse. Jayakody refuses to do so, which makes the apartment dwellers believe Satya and they all evacuate, just in time before the apartment starts collapsing, with the apartment sign falling on Jayakody, crushing him to death. Satya then realizes that one of the dwellers, his neighbor's daughter, Alavarazi, is still trapped in the apartment, and rushes to save her. While he manages to save her, at the same time, the apartment collapses with Satya still inside. In the aftermath of the collapse, the dwellers all search for Satya. He is found beneath the rubble wreckage, but is seemingly dead. 2 years later, with another government in place, the apartment is being rebuilt, this time being built keeping the dwellers in loop and with a good and strong construction. It is also revealed that Satya miraculously survived the apartment collapse and still works for Dina the, writing and illustrating Maaveeran, but the incident has left him permanently deaf. However, his reflexes have sharpened as well. Alavarazi approaches Satya with a question about his survival, and it becomes clear that the enigmatic voice had once again reappeared, breathing life back into Satya in the aftermath of the apartment collapse.